Hey there, welcome back to the Member Engagement Advantage. I'm Joy Duling, and I'm glad that you are here with us. I have a special guest today. I've mentioned in the past that we were going to have Ollie Bridge with us from Bonjoro. And Bajuro is one of my favorite engagement tools. Whenever I share it with people in my member experience design programs, they always love the idea of it. But when you actually get into the implementation, that's when, people start having questions about, well, how do I actually use this? And how do I make the time? And all those sorts of things. So Ali is going to share with us what he has seen working with companies and membership organizations that use Bonjoro as a tool. So welcome. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah, really glad to be here. I think memberships has been a really strong sort of niche for us as a company. We've been going about 3-4 years. And actually the last 6-12 months seen a lot of sort of memberships usage. So I'm excited to talk to you and your audience and share sort of more of what I know about that and how video fits into it.
Fantastic. So I sent an email out to folks on my list earlier this week, and I just kind of introduced the topic of using personalized video as an engagement strategy. And it's something that I've always loved doing because it feels very different. And I have to tell you that right after I sent that email, within like 2 or 3 hours, I actually got a Bonjoro back from someone in my audience. And it's not someone that I had interacted with previously. I mean, she's been on my list for a while, but now that we've had kind of that Bonjoro exchange, I feel like I know her. So it was awesome to kind of have that experience. But for people who aren't familiar with the whole idea of personalized video, what are we talking about?
So I'll just quickly say about your experience, just saying it's really interesting. Like that's the sort of core part of it. That's the value of this thing. It's like building relationships, getting a personal video from someone. When you really experience, I guess, the true power of it. And it does tend to lead to these like relationships that you didn't expect. It's really interesting. But we're talking about really when it comes to video and Bonjoro, our tool itself, is using video at specific points in your customer's journey or your member's journey to increase their levels of engagement, maybe to convert more members, maybe to increase engagement, retain more members, all these sorts of things. So it's not just sort of using video for video's sake, it's really thinking strategically about your own customer journey and your funnels, whatever it might be, and putting it in at the right points to elevate your customer's experience, to elevate those relationships. A lot of stuff you can do with it. For me, I always like to start with like a bit of a mental model as to where you should use video and where you don't really need to use video, if that'd be useful for me to share with you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, with the personalized video, most of the ones that people send through Bonjoro are the ones that are created for just a single person. They're like, hi, Susan. Hi, Bob. And so like the person who receives it knows that that video was created specifically for them. I know that's not like the only way that you can do videos, but that seems to be the most common thing I see with Bonjoro.
Yeah, that's worth saying. On a sort of basic level, Bonjoro lets you send a personal video by email to a specific person, maybe on your email list, and it'll be to them. So you'll say their name, you'll relate to their specific context. There's other things you can do as well with Bonjoro, and I'll come back to this later. You don't have to do it just one-to-one, but that's really where we've seen the most power in terms of, and I'll come back to this in our mental model, in terms of driving action and getting those relationships as well with your customers.
Awesome. All right. Share the mental models with us.
So the mental model, I think like any sort of marketer, salesperson, it's good to have a mental model to break down simply where you should use something and how you should do something and where it fits and where it doesn't fit. So for me, personal video, so when we're talking about this personal video and one-to-one stuff, there are 3 things I'd talk about. So you've got a sort of low touch part of your funnel or low touch part of your customer journey.
Okay.
Medium touch and high touch. And I'll talk to those. So low touch for me is not where you're going to use personal video. So it's more sort of transactional stuff in nature. So, you're talking things like password resets or just like someone buys something and you send them like a purchase receipt, these sorts of things, you don't really need to be looking in that space with personal video. For me, you can still use like cool personal touches in those bits. So like little brand touches or brand flourishes. I love a company called Zest.is, and every email they send to you that's like one-to-many, that's to the whole list, they always sign it off with like have a zesty day, like their brand logo is a lemon, and it's just those little things. I think they work still in sort of that low-touch environment, transactional. Then below that, I think of sort of medium touch being educational, and this still isn't one-to-one, it's one-to-many. So for this sort of thing, you're thinking maybe like a screen recording, or you're thinking something like a webinar or a live stream like this. Right. So sort of medium touch, you want to sort of touch everyone, and you want it to feel quite personal, and really have a lot of your context and your brand and speak to them, but it's not just for that person. So I think, things like this, webinars, screen recordings are great as well. We've got a screen recorder in Bonjoro that's sort of free HD, and you can send screen recordings to people on any channel. But personal video for me is really about, there's two things. So I call it high touch. And high touch for me is where you're trying to drive action. So you want someone to convert into a lead. You want someone to join your Facebook community. You want someone to do something. So for me, like, don't waste the opportunity to drive action on using another type of medium. So don't do a sort of one-to-many thing when you really want to drive action. So if I'm trying to drive action at Bonjoro as a marketer, I'm always thinking, how can I do this? Let's not over-automate it. Let's try and do something as personal as possible. And that's where personal video comes in.
Okay.
That's my mental model.
Yeah, I like that. So I like the idea of it being high touch, but not overly automated, and that you don't want to be overly automated when you really want to drive, someone to take a specific action. So, with my clients, I'm always talking about kind of the stages of member experience. And so, sometimes you're talking about people very early on in the experience, and you're wanting them to convert from being a prospect to a member. But then there's all of this stuff for membership organizations that happens after that. So, you want them to, get some quick wins when they first join. You want them to actively engage as they get into the programs. You want them to, be able to refer their friends. You want to prepare them for, hey, you got a renewal coming up, and, here's the value that we've delivered. And then you want to say thank you when they've actually renewed. So I really think there are all of these kind of opportunities that will arise during a member experience for, you to use a tool creatively like Bonjoro.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you have any examples of membership organizations that you've seen using Bonjoro effectively?
Yeah, so I've been looking through some membership organizations at Bonjoro customers this week, and I'm always sort of writing case studies and articles, guest posts and things. I came across actually a guy called John from a company called Bulldog Mindset has been using Bonjoro. He's actually using it, I guess, at sort of top of the funnel. So in terms of conversion of more leads. So I think his process and his flow is that someone comes in, either downloads a free guide or joins a free part of his membership site, and he then sends a personal video to every single one of those people. And he actually did it really awesome and great for me as a marketer. He did a split test. So he did 200 videos to these warm leads, and then 200 not videos, and not sending them a video. And he said, the first 5 he sent, he was like, oh, is this going to work? So he went through all 200, really stuck with it. And he took his conversion percent up to a paid membership from 5% to 10% in that time. And actually I spoke to him this week, and he said it's gone up. He's now doing videos for everyone, and his conversion percent is up to something like 12 or 13. So really interesting. He did it sort of rigorously, new leads, hitting some sort of free lead magnet or free part of his membership, and really then sort of using his videos to sort of drive that action to his paid part of his site, which is really cool.
That is very cool. I mean, just a couple of percentage points, especially when you're talking about, a volume, you can make a huge difference in, financial gain in member satisfaction and all of that. That's cool. Okay, but hearing that he did 200 videos, that leads to the first kind of concern that I tend to hear from people. You know, when we're talking about this in the member experience design program, people are like, oh, this sounds really cool. And then they start like doing the math in their head and they go, well, gosh, if I did have to do, let's say, even have to do 100 of them in a month, you know, it takes me 2 minutes to create a video. That's like 200 minutes. And oh my gosh, that's almost 4 hours worth of extra work. And where am I going to find that? So kind of that, you know, volume question comes up. Like if I can't do this at a volume that is meaningful for my organization, then should I do it at all? So what do you say to people who are just kind of concerned about this being extra work?
I think there's a couple of things. So there's one is like, you know, what are you already doing that might be taking that time? So you might already be doing like phone calls or whatever it might be that sort of takes a lot of time, and are you getting results? So it's sort of the do the work that matters thing. But related to that, a bit like I talked about with John, is like test stuff at a small scale. So never go all in straight away. So you could take, you know, 10, 20 people in your organization and do it for them and see the results, and then figure out if you want to scale it before going all in. And if the results are good enough, and coming back to this do the work that matters sort of thing, it should make you think a little bit, okay, what could I take out of my day that might be taking up some of that time that's probably not having the same results? So there's a bit of that sort of do the work that matters thing in it. There's also, I think, a level of segmentation that matters. So I think sort of any organization should be, you know, really thinking seriously about their segmentation. And like on Bonjour, part of my job here is I create this thing called the Video Funnel Playbook, and it's all these plays of how you can use video, but also telling you sort of where you should be using it and how you should be segmenting your customers, what triggers are really right for when you should be sending personal video. So I think having a keen eye on the segmentation part, so you don't have to do it for everyone, but where are you going to do it that's going to make an impact for your organization, and then testing that in a sort of small chunk where you know it works, and then you can scale it up. And it might be, if you've already doing a lot of phone stuff, you could actually shift some of that over to video stuff if it's working better. So I think that's a way of doing it. And also, in terms of the technical element, like our product itself, we have stuff that helps scale doing video. So actually we have a thing where you can pull in like customer data, custom fields from your own CRM into the Bonjour app, and you can actually see that when you're recording. So you're not having to like cross-reference back to an Excel spreadsheet. So there's that stuff. And we have a thing called roll-ups as well. So you can actually, if you think there's a small group of VIP customers where you don't want to necessarily do fully one-to-one, you could select in the app sort of 10 of them, 15, and send a one-to-many video to those people. So it's still personal, still in the moment, still got a lot of context, still feels really nice to them, but you're not having to record the same thing for every single person.
So theoretically, if you had like 25 new people join this week, you could like once a week do one of those kind of roll-up videos and say, you know, we're really excited that you joined this week kind of thing. And
yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, it's not like hi Susan or hi Bob, but it's still very timely and made just for those people this week. That's cool. I had not thought about the possibility of using the roll-ups in that way. Yeah. So I am doing what you just talked about with the contact management software connecting to Bonjour. So when, when people sign up for something of mine, they come into my contact management system, and then, you know, I automatically kind of see them in Bonjour, can make that connection. So that's been very cool. I do like not having to do that cross-reference sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's the thing we're all about. Like the integrations piece is where we're really trying to be different to everyone else in the market. We're going really sort of big on integrate with your system, because then you can create these flows, these funnels, as I call them, video funnels. And that's the key thing, because it sort of gives you don't want to do the thinking, you just want to be recording the videos and getting the great results. Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing that comes up for people when I talk about this strategy is the informal nature of personalized videos. So most of the time when you're talking about like associations and trade groups, they are more accustomed to the videos that are formal in nature, like something that you're going to post on your website, or you're going to send out to all of your people, or you're going to showcase at your conference. And so those are usually, high production value, and, they're scripted and they're vetted by committees. And this is not what we're talking about with personalized video. We're really talking about holding up your phone and saying a quick little 1 minute, personalized message to someone. And that makes some people very nervous. So what advice do you have for someone who's like, we're used to doing something a little more formal than this?
Yeah, a couple of things. I think like the first one again is like you don't have to jump all in on it straight away. So it's the test thing. So what we always say when people sort of come on board Bonjoro is first like send videos to your team, like get comfortable with that process, doing it, opening them, seeing what it feels like. But in terms of like the polish, I think we've seen a bit of a shift from, like video hosting, still great, big, has its place. But there are so many organizations embracing the other side because people are ready for it. People are truly ready for this. Like we've had really interesting use case over here. We have a number of universities in the UK that use Bonjoro to reach out to students to try and convert them onto their courses. There's a process here called clearing. So if you didn't get your first university, you go into clearing and say, oh, I might go to one of these 5 universities. And we had a really great like early adopter University of Bedford said, okay, we're going to get our academics to send videos to the prospective students to say, I would be teaching your course. We truly value you here at this institution. And they converted, I think it was something like $3.5 million more students the year that they did this. And
wow.
They had those initial concerns like, okay, this, it's not got the polish. But when they did it and the responses you get back, that's the key thing. When you send this stuff and the responses you get back, you quite quickly realize within the first 5-10 videos that actually people really don't mind about that. And of course, there'll have to be some sort of internal vetting done on, what sort of thing are we going to say? Like, what's it going to look like? You can get your branding on there and all that stuff. But really, I think it's looking at those responses coming back in. Suddenly, you will quite easily get the buy-in from the rest of your organization when you see that. And that case study for me, like university use case, that's a huge institution.
Oh, yeah.
And they have really bought into it. And then everyone else saw that what they were doing, and every other university wants to be at the action. So, yeah.
Okay, well, I think that is a perfect example. If a large university can do it and they can create kind of those pre-relationships between their faculty and potential students, I think that is a perfect model for, an association that's trying to attract in new members and show that they are that relationship with the member is going to be special and engaging and that sort of thing. So, well, and I actually think that is the perfect place to kind of leave our interview. Tell folks where they can learn more about Bonjoro and how they can kind of dive into this idea of personalized video if it's something that they're interested in exploring.
So Bonjoro itself, if you go to bonjoro.com, so bonjoro.com, that's where we live. In terms of I mentioned the video funnel playbook. That's quite a broad one. It's just at bonjoro.com/video funnel playbook. I think if you Google video funnel playbook, it comes up. But really, we're really sort of hands-on organization. So if you ever come onto Bonjoro and go to our live chat, always happy to jump on a call and talk about your organization and where video would fit in. So, come and say hello and we'll say hello back and jump on a call. That'd be cool.
Okay, well, I will be sure to put that link into the comments area as soon as we close off. And that way people can go there and grab that. I'm going to go there and grab it myself because I don't think I've downloaded it. Well, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate you being here with us today. And I think what we've talked about is really going to spark some creative thinking. And I can't wait to hear back from all of you who are listening to this either here live or on the replay. I want to hear from you if you kind of explore this idea and what you're thinking you might do with this. Or better yet, shoot me a Bonjoro and let me know. All right, so that's all for this week. I will see you all next week, same time, same place. Have a great week and take care. Bye, Allie.
Bye. Cheers.